There is a tree alive right now. You can go touch it. That was already ancient when the asteroid hit and killed the dinosaurs. A tree that has survived every mass extinction for the last 300 million years. And for 200 million of those years, scientists thought it was completely extinct. Wait, what? We need to talk about the Ginkgo biloba. You've probably seen it, fan-shaped leaves, often planted in city streets because it resists pollution, disease, and pests almost completely. It might even be in a supplement at your local pharmacy. But here's what the label doesn't tell you. The ginkgo is so old that it has no living relatives. None. Every other species in its entire taxonomic division, Ginkgophyta Budadiensophyte, is extinct. It is the last of its kind, walking around like nothing happened, while every cousin it ever had died out tens of millions of years ago. Botanists have a term for this, living fossil, but that term doesn't do it justice. In the 1690s, a German botanist named Engelbert Kampfer encountered a ginkgo tree growing at a Japanese temple. He brought samples back to Europe. Scientists were fascinated. The leaf shape matched perfectly with 270-million-year-old fossil impressions found in rock. The tree was essentially identical to its Permian ancestors. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. In 1944, a Chinese forester named Zhan Wang was surveying forests in the Tianmu Mountains. In a monastery garden, he found ginkgo trees growing that matched no known wild population. When scientists investigated, they found something extraordinary. There are no truly wild ginkgo trees left. Every ginkgo alive today is descended from trees cultivated by Buddhist monks in Chinese monastery gardens, who had been growing and protecting them for over 1,000 years, possibly longer. The monks saved the species. Without the monasteries, the ginkgo would be a fossil. So how did it survive everything else that killed everything else? 3 reasons, and all 3 are genuinely weird. First, chemical armor. Ginkgo leaves produce a compound called ginkolide, a molecule so structurally unusual that chemists spent decades trying to synthesize it. It repels insects, fungi, bacteria, and most herbivores. Nothing wants to eat a ginkgo. The tree has been running the same chemical defense system for 270 million years, and nothing has evolved to defeat it. Second, tolerance. Ginkgo trees near the Hiroshima atomic bomb blast, within 1-2 kilometers of the hypocenter, survived. 6 ginkgo trees were among the first living things to re-sprout after the detonation in August 1945. They are still alive today. Scientists have studied their genetics. Almost no radiation-induced mutations. The tree has DNA repair mechanisms that outperform what we see in virtually any other plant. Third, reproductive patience. A ginkgo tree doesn't produce seeds until it's around 20 years old. Some don't fruit until 30. But once they start, they continue for centuries. A ginkgo can live for over 3,000 years and remain reproductively active for most of that time. In 2020, a team of Chinese and American researchers published a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They compared the gene expression of young ginkgo trees, 15 years old, to ancient specimens over 600 years old. Their finding was extraordinary. In most organisms, aging follows a predictable pattern. Gene expression related to disease resistance declines, cell repair slows, the organism becomes increasingly vulnerable. In humans, this starts in our 20s and accelerates from there. In ginkgo trees, they found almost none of this. The 600-year-old trees showed essentially the same immune gene activity, the same growth hormone levels, the same cellular repair capacity as the young trees. The researchers concluded that ginkgo trees may have no intrinsic aging program. They don't age the way animals do. They just keep going until something external kills them. Disease, a storm, a human with a chainsaw. The lead author, Ginkgo, noted, "Ginkgo trees don't have a program to die." Let's put this in perspective. A 3,000-year-old ginkgo tree was a sapling when the Egyptian Empire was at its peak. It was middle-aged during the Roman Empire. It was already ancient when Columbus crossed the Atlantic, and biologically, at the cellular level, it is just as capable of growth, reproduction, and disease resistance today as it was when it was 50 years old. That's not just a long life. That's something fundamentally different from how we understand biological aging. Animals, including us, have programmed senescence. Our cells are designed to wear out. The ginkgo apparently never got that instruction. Researchers studying longevity and age-related disease are now actively studying ginkgo biology, not for supplements, but for what it reveals about the molecular mechanics of aging itself. The tree you walk past in the city, the one that smells weird in autumn when the fruits fall. That tree is a 270-million-year-old genetic lineage that survived asteroid impacts, ice ages, atomic blasts, and 5 mass extinctions. And it's biologically as vigorous as the day it started. Next week, the mathematical paradox that broke an entire branch of logic and almost drove one of the greatest mathematicians in history to a breakdown. Subscribe if that broke your brain, and I'll see you next week.